Deep within the heart of the magnificent emerald forest, a place filled with towering trees and whispering leaves, lived a very special deer named Daisy. Daisy wasn't just any deer, she was known throughout the forest for her incredibly kind heart. Her fur, a beautiful golden brown, seemed to hold a bit of magic, sparkling like tiny stars whenever the sunlight danced upon it. Daisy lived by a simple yet powerful belief: helping others makes the world a brighter place. And so, every single morning, she would set off on her daily journey, walking through the woods and spreading kindness like warm sunshine on a spring day. One morning, however, the sky wasn't bright and sunny. It turned a gloomy shade of grey, and soon big, heavy raindrops began to fall, pattering on the leaves and turning the forest paths into muddy trails. As Daisy walked carefully, trying not to slip, a faint, tiny cry for help reached her ears. "Help! Someone help me!" it called out. Without a moment's hesitation, Daisy followed the sound, her heart beating a little faster. There, shivering under a large broken branch, was a little squirrel. His name was Pico, and his tiny paw was trapped, pinned to the ground by the heavy wood. He couldn't move an inch. Daisy's voice was as soft as a whisper. "Don't worry, Pico. I'm here to help you," she said, her calm presence immediately easing the little squirrel's fear. She positioned herself carefully, lowered her head, and, with a great effort, used all her strength to lift the heavy branch with her strong antlers. Pico quickly pulled his paw free. "Oh, thank you, Daisy. You saved me," he squeaked with joy, shaking his wet fur. Daisy simply smiled warmly. "Always help when you can, little one. One day you'll help someone too." She knew that every act of kindness, no matter how small, sends ripples of goodness out into the world. Continuing on her rainy day walk, Daisy soon noticed another friend in trouble. Down on the damp ground, a beautiful blue butterfly was tangled in a sticky spider web. Its delicate wings were caught, and it struggled helplessly. "I can't fly, I'm stuck. Please help me." The butterfly cried out, its voice full of panic. Daisy knelt down very gently. Using the very tip of her antler with the utmost care, she delicately poked at the sticky threads, breaking them one by one without so much as touching the butterfly's fragile wings. In a moment, the butterfly was free. It fluttered its wings, shaking off the last bits of the web, and then circled around Daisy's head in a joyful dance. "You are so kind. I will never, ever forget this," the butterfly said gratefully before soaring up into the sky. Later that evening, the rain had stopped, but a new fear had gripped the forest. A wild and powerful storm had raged through, and its fierce winds had broken a huge ancient tree that grew near the forest river. The massive trunk had fallen right across the water, creating a dam. The river water, blocked from its natural path, was beginning to rise dangerously, flooding its banks and creeping ever closer to the animals' homes. The forest creatures gathered together, their faces filled with worry. "What are we going to do?" The rabbits cried, their noses twitching nervously. A wise old beaver looked at the giant log. "We need to push the tree away," he suggested, "but it's far too heavy for any of us." A wave of despair washed over the group. Everyone was scared. Everyone, that is, except for Daisy. She stood tall, her eyes filled with determination. "We can do it," she said with a confident voice, "if we do it together." Daisy walked right up to the giant fallen tree. She braced herself and pushed with every ounce of her strength. The tree groaned, but it didn't move. It was just too big. But just as Daisy was about to lose hope, a small figure scurried forward. It was Pico, the squirrel she had saved earlier that day. "I'll help," he shouted. Then, from above, the blue butterfly appeared, and with her came a whole cloud of other butterflies, their wings beating in unison. Soon, other animals emerged from the shadows. The birds, the rabbits, the beavers, and even a shy hedgehog who usually kept to himself, all came forward. "Let's help Daisy," they all shouted. She helped every one of us. Together, they lined up alongside the massive log. Daisy gave the signal, "Ready. 1, 2, 3, push." With a mighty, collective effort, they all pushed at once. A great groaning sound echoed through the forest as the giant tree began to creak, then to roll. Slowly at first, and then faster, it moved, finally tumbling away from the river's path. The trapped water rushed forward with a mighty whoosh, and the river began to flow normally again. The animals' homes were safe, the forest was saved, and it was all because kindness always finds a way to come back. That night, the stars shone brighter than ever. The animals of the Emerald Forest threw a little celebration in Daisy's honor. They gathered in a moonlit clearing, sharing berries and nuts. A wise old owl, perched on a branch above, spoke for everyone. "You saved us, Daisy," he hooted softly. "Not just today with the tree, but every single day with your kindness." Daisy felt a warm blush creep onto her cheeks. "I didn't do it alone," she said modestly. "We all did it together. It just goes to show that when we help others, they will always be there to help us in return." And as she looked around at the happy faces of her friends, she knew it was true. The moral of this story is a simple one. Kindness always returns. Even a small act of goodness can create a ripple effect, leading to something truly magical. Helping others doesn't just make their world better, it makes the whole world a safer, happier, and much more beautiful place for everyone. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.